Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Professor Dave. We're going to talk about AI. He recently did a video on AI. I also recently did a video on AI. And I mean, this is kind of like one of these topics you just can't get away from these days. It's everywhere and it's affecting all of us. Uh, but first, I just wanted to talk about how I got to know you. You are probably most well known right now for your firebrand content, your stuff with like flat earthers and creationists and so on. But your channel, I think for at least 90% of the videos on there are just these very clean, very precise science education videos, which is what first got my attention. I was getting ready to gear up to do a series of videos on chemistry. It'd been a while since I took chemistry class. So I went back, I was just looking on YouTube and I found your videos, your just intro to chemistry, and it was
Mhm.
awesome. It was just no BS, no fluff, just here's the stuff. And it was like
Yeah.
a college class.
Mhm.
So that was super good. I mean, it was like a college class, but the teacher's not trying to fill 45 minutes, It was
Yeah,
like to the point.
right to the point.
We're
Yeah, that
done, we're
was
done.
that was
See you
part of
later.
the mission statement. Yeah, being succinct, that was always a goal, yeah.
Yeah. And so for that, I've been supporting you on Patreon. Not much, like it's like $5 a month or
Sure,
something, but ever
but
since then.
consistently.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a fairly early supporter on Patreon. Thanks for that.
It's funny just how many times I have a question and I Google it and you pop up. So
I try my best to do that. Yeah, it's cool having put out content fairly early, 2015, 2016, I was sort of rising the ranks of what was there in educational content, and it was much more sparse, so I was able to incur some favor with the algorithm such that there are somewhere between 50 and 100 topics where I mean, I haven't checked in a while, but I imagine still pretty prominently featured in in the search results, which is good.
what I'm seeing when I go on there is that your regular education stuff, it looks like some of them have definitely been picked up by high schools.
Mhm.
So they've got a lot of views. But a lot of them you get slow views and then your firebrand stuff will explode.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll get a million views out of the gate.
Yeah.
How does like just from the YouTube creator side, like how is longevity different for you for your educational videos versus your
Well, the tutorials are the ultimate evergreen content. I mean, when I made a Terrence Howard video, it blew up because everyone was talking about the Joe Rogan appearance, and then I was the top search result for a couple of weeks, and so got a lot of views. But then eventually, people don't care and they move on. What else is in the news cycle? Whereas there's still millions of people every year that have to learn calculus and organic chemistry and physics and whatever it is. So it's the ultimate evergreen content, and I do a lot of tutorials that have amassed millions of views slowly and gradually over nearly a decade. So I don't like I never want to stop making tutorials. It was the initial mission statement of the channel to be a database for gathering knowledge in literally any topic you can think of. Obviously, I have many more topics to go, but it also like brings a level of credibility to the channel. When I'm doing a debunk on anti-vaxxers and stuff, and I can direct you to like, here's an immunology series. If you want to learn about the immune system in way more detail than you ever thought you would want to, dig into, here you go. It's like 20 tutorials or something. Give it a shot. Or, if I'm doing an pseudo archaeology debunk, here's an archaeology series. Virtually everything I debunk, there's a companion, course to
yeah.
gather the basic information. So I do like that I have that, and I want to keep doing that. But I do make way more money from the debunks, at least if you do a one-to-one comparison. So I've been doing quite a lot more of those lately.
Yeah. The how does those are two very different projects because I
Yeah.
do a little bit of like debunking and or just I try not to call them debunks really. I'm like, there was a guy who says that these elongated skulls are from aliens. So I've
Mhm.
done a series of videos where I'm, pressing each of those claims. But I do feel like well, especially if you look in the comment section, when you're when I'm doing something about aliens, for example, the cult behind aliens is almost bigger than behind creationism.
Yeah, there's more people who believe in that than creationism for sure.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say that there's no aliens. I'm just trying to say, well, this skull is a human skull. It was
Yeah.
elongated. And people get so angry. So
Yeah.
then you're just swamped with hate mail.
Yeah.
And that it changes the mood in your life. I don't know if how do you deal with that? Does it affect you much, or is it?
Yeah, you have no idea how much, harassment I get.
Oh, I know it.
It's
I've looked in the comments.
absolutely
Yeah,
unreal. And the thing is that once you hit a certain threshold, you start to get numb to it because and then it no longer really affects how you think or behave because it's just a baseline of like this will always happen every day of my life. Oh, I will be relentlessly harassed
yeah,
for all of this stuff. So then you just go, well, whatever. So that's a given. So I'm going to do whatever I want and I'll attack whoever I want and be as voracious as I want. Um,
yeah,
it just goes with the territory. Once you hit a certain level of views and attention, like it's going to happen. And it doesn't help that I go after like every flavor of pseudoscience that exists
yeah, yeah,
almost. So it's not limited to like just creationism or whatever it is. So, the pseudo-archaeology cult is one of the most toxic. They are just like
yeah,
just patrolling for anything that is undermining their ridiculous worldview and then pouncing and the transphobes and the this and the that and it's everything. It's constant. So but
yeah.
yeah, it's not as bad as I mean, it's not that bad.
The archaeology thing is so interesting because, well, the archaeology and the alien groups really overlap.
Yeah, totally.
Sometimes you get creationists that go in that realm too, but I think for the most part, creationism is its own thing.
Hmm.
But I was very interested to see how intense the archaeology stuff is. Like I saw Flint, what's his name? Flint Gibble?
Flint Dibble.
Flint Dibble. Yeah. It's amazing how intense that is. And then it makes sense when you realize that these are people that run tours and they're trying to
Sure.
make money over
Yeah,
there.
Billy Carson and all these people. Yeah, they just charge exorbitant fees to
Yeah.
go to these places with these guys and just have them pretend they know what they're talking about and stuff.
Yeah.
Flint Dibble is like one of the most unjustifiably maligned people. Like,
Yeah.
just all he did was go on Joe Rogan's show and show the world what a lying fraud Graham Hancock is, and then all of a sudden the narrative turned into Flint must be a lying fraud in order to exonerate Graham Hancock. So he is. We've decided that he is, and then all of his minions like his little underlings instruct the cult to just repeat like a mantra, Flint Dibble's a liar, Flint Dibble's a liar. And that's all they do. So they'll comment on my videos like, oh, you supporting Flint Dibble shows everything. Like, he's a liar. Like, what did he lie about? What did he lie about? Like, they cannot, like, they can't even have an adult conversation about it. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
So for me on YouTube, out of the gate, stated clearly my animation channel, I have videos on there about evolution that are multi-million views.
Hmm.
And at first I thought that, I was getting tons of hate mail from those. At first I thought it was like unique to creationism.
Yep.
And then when I started doing this stuff on, skull anatomy, I'm like, oh no, it seems like every topic
You're pissing
has
someone off.
has this crazy crowd. And the only topic I've covered that really hasn't had that is chemistry. But even then, I still do get emails from people that like, I have a whole new atoms aren't real. Um,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, like, I mean, we have a model, but it's amazing that there even are people in that group that are like,
Yeah.
no, no, it's not. It's all fake.
And physics now too, because of Eric Weinstein and Sabina Hassenfelder, the whole like string theory is soaking up all the fun. You don't even know what string theory is. You have no idea what percentage of physicists are string theorists. Like, they just they take narratives that sound good to them and then just repeat them. It's bizarre. It's so crazy to watch.
The topic of today is this AI video that you did, and I wanted to talk about this because, well, would you consider that to be a popular video or like a lecture style video? Like, how do you classify that
It's a
for your
it's a good
own work?
it's a good question. It's kind of a hybrid. It's kind of
Yeah,
in between because it's topical and I'm sort of like I'm not really attacking a particular figure or a fraud. I guess I'm in a way sort of exposing rhetoric of like AI CEOs. Um, so there's a bit of that debunk thing there, but I'm also just explaining some things about how AI works or what it has done thus far. So it's kind of like right in the middle. It's interesting.
yeah, yeah. I would say any attacks you were doing was like attacks on the carelessness of
Mhm.
people that are doing this, because the impacts are way bigger than I think a lot of people who work in it maybe even think the impacts are bigger than I would, but, the it's a very interesting topic. So,
Yeah.
you got some pushback from people, so there's kinda 2 uh, some of the pushback would be like, "You've bought into the, AI bros promises that this is
Yeah.
gonna change everything," which really it's not. And so I wanna talk about that because I actually do think that already, if we stopped any progress on AI models, if you just built around it using classical software, we have the tools to build Big Brother like everyone was afraid of in the past. The thing's strong enough now to cause major problems. It's like the reason it's not is because cultural momentum. It's just no one, no evil bad guy or no dictator has gotten a hold of this and really figured out how to
Yeah.
start using it. But I think that we're already in a very dangerous position. But I wanna get your take on this claim that you're over exaggerating the dangers that we're in.
I don't think anybody could possibly argue that AI isn't already in a place where it can be wielded as an instrument for authoritarian power. I mean, that seems completely undeniable. We're already seeing that in terms of like facial recognition and like the way China does its, the way that China society operates. But that's a completely separate question. I mean, the question is whether super intelligence will arise and if it can destroy us. I'm the first person to admit that, like, I'm not like super tech savvy. I don't know a lot about AI. I don't know what's going to happen. And I said many times in the video, I don't know what's going to happen. Here are what other people are saying. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, you just said what the AI CEOs were saying, and they just like say that stuff to like inflate the value of the AI and like get funding, and and it's not true. Like I very, very specifically included bits from independent researchers, Jeffrey Hinton and like a few others. Like they have no affiliation to any of these AI firms, and they had some of the most alarmist, if you want to call that, messages of any of them.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, look at what this guy says.
Right.
He's not benefiting financially from saying this. He's just telling you what he thinks as one of the world, leaders of the field, right?
Yeah.
Intellectually, academically. So I don't know. I mean, all I can say is that I didn't know about some of these tests that Anthropic was doing, and a lot of people said like, "Oh, it doesn't know what to do. It wasn't making decisions, and it was instructed to do that." I was like, no, it wasn't. It figured out. It developed a strategy. It's a problem solving thing,
Yeah.
and it figured out ways to self preserve. I mean, it's alarming. I don't really see how anyone can't find that alarming and indicative of potential behavior under a certain set of circumstances. Whether those circumstances would ever arise, I don't know, the limitations of the studies and so forth. But I mentioned all that, and all I said was, isn't this interesting? Like, look at this. It
Yeah.
seems alarming to me. I don't know.
For people who haven't thought about this a whole lot, the big difference now with this between if you contrast this with classic programming, here we're building a system that can be trained in a way that you would train a dog.
Hmm.
It's you're trying it's a thing that can learn, and you try to train it and guide what it's gonna be doing. Use a bunch of data to do this training, and then you try to aim that as well. And it's super hard to do. So you've got this behemoth of a machine, and you're trying to train it, and you're trying to train it in a way that it's not gonna do something horribly wrong. It's not gonna misinterpret what you intended or what you actually wanted it to do. And that is just such I heard someone made an analogy. It's like right now it's like a little baby tiger.
Hmm.
It's like a cub, and you're raising it and you're training it. It's just gonna grow into an adult tiger.
Yeah, I
And
think that was hinting on Diary of a CEO. I think I included at least part of that clip. Yeah.
yeah, it's like yeah, that's a very good analogy. And it's not that the tiger is necessarily gonna kill us all, but it could. And
Yeah.
then and we don't know if we trained it wrong. We don't know if yeah, it's just it's very
Perilous. It's
it's a
fraught with
scary
risk
thing.
and
And what we have all of a sudden is we have educated people making apocalypse noises, like the crazy man on the street holding the sign, "The end is near," right?
Mhm.
And I think within the skeptic community, because I actually go to a thing called the Skeptics Night. That's a club. People who brand themselves as skeptics. They tend to be very skeptical of the tech bros that are making these claims,
Mhm. Mhm.
and they don't like anything that sounds kind of like Christian-y apocalyptic. So there's kind of like this
Yeah.
allergy towards apocalyptic thinking. But if if you're someone like me, you think about biology, you think about extinction, you think about
Yeah.
we're just a species, we can go extinct,
Of
and we're
course.
just species, we can get replaced. We can get replaced even by something that we gave rise to. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how that's how alleles get replaced. They get
Mhm.
replaced by new alleles. This is normal. So the possibility is definitely there. There's nobody saying that the way that we've lived life forever is normal and is going to continue forever. It's just not. You and I, who have jobs on making YouTube videos, this is like the coolest thing ever. We we happen to be alive at the right time in the right place with the right set of skills and the right ambitions that we're gonna do this instead of, you know,
Toiling in the fields. Yeah.
being a soldier for some rich
Oh,
dude.
yeah, going to some war and yeah. No, I completely agree, and I think about it all the time. I have a pretty cushy life, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's amazing, and I'm not saying that you don't work hard or that I don't work hard,
right,
but it's like,
but
wow, we lucked out.
yeah,
So
it's not bad.
the but there's no guarantee that this continues. There's no guarantee that this is not normal, first of all. It's not normal, and there's no guarantee it's gonna continue, and what we're doing is very dangerous, and I just don't think that a lot of people realize that that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, like, to think that it's impossible for us to go extinct is insanely naive. I mean, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous. There are many ways it could happen, and we have to be prepared for all of them, right? The classic example is like the asteroid comes, because that's happened before.
right,
That's caused a mass extinction event before. And so you don't go, nah, it'll never happen. You think about it and you prepare. And then ideally, I mean, I think we're not that far away, maybe a few decades from being able to handle something like that, an asteroid on a collision course with Earth, whether we deflect its path gently or blow the thing up or whatever it is. Um, and then pandemics, we have to prepare for the event of a deadly pandemic, and this is just another one in that list. Like it's just another thing that could go wrong to kill us all. And another thing that all that everybody's saying is like, just pull the plug. Like it's on your computer, you can't do. The point is that we're giving it all of this automated behavior, right? The direction is very clearly to to make the AIs smarter and smarter and smarter and give them more and more and more power. So anything that's on a grid, right, they can control. If once they start being able to control things external to the computer, I mean, it's already very easy. I mean, they already know how to like control a desktop computer and stuff like that, and
right.
then whatever that's connected to. I mean, it's just I really don't like. I'm not saying this is for sure going to happen, but I can't wrap my head around the thought process of anyone who says it for sure can't happen. Obviously, it can happen. We don't know what the probability is, but why are we tempting fate in this manner? I don't.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of I don't know, have you ever done a series of videos on, aviation?
I have not.
Yeah, that the history of aviation is insane. There's just go if you go to any flight museum, we go from the Wright brothers, like, basically it's a kite with a propeller with propellers on it,
Yeah, to
to
Boeing.
full-on bombers
Yeah,
in just one war. It just took it was like 20 years or something like
yeah,
that. It's nothing.
and then to the moon 20 years after that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, the changes that can happen in technology, especially when there's a war, is insane.
Mm,
We haven't seen AIs battle each other from, like, one superpower to another, but
yeah.
I'm sure that's on the horizon,
Hmm.
and, like, the best case scenario is that the internet breaks, you know? And that would mean that your bank card doesn't work anymore, that
No.
it would be chaos, it would be absolute
Mhm.
chaos, but that's the best case scenario, that's
Right. It's
that's
better than
assuming we don't have
extinction.
people shut down power grids, and we don't have in the middle of winter, we don't have, I mean, it c it's gonna be very interesting. I just
Mhm.
we're just opening up a whole new can of worms, and it's very important that people are concerned about it and talking about those concerns. I don't think people should panic about it, but normal people who don't have a say in what's happening shouldn't panic about it. It's like you can't really do much of
Sure.
that anyways.
But we should
But
be concerned and talking about it. That's the
yeah,
first step, you know?
one of the claims that people have is, okay, even if it was super intelligent, why would it want to kill us? That doesn't make any sense, right?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
maybe we'll talk about that here in a second. But I just want to talk more about the nearer problem, which is just Big Brother style
Yeah.
dictator issues.
Yeah. Intellectually, a much less interesting question because we know what humans are and we know what humans will do with power. It's much more interesting to think about what would superintelligence do? Like that's an interesting
On its
philosophical
own.
question. The latter is a much easier to answer question and a much more certain eventuality. Right? It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
So.
there's a guy, I'm forgetting the name of his channel, but he pointed out that in most large US cities, we already have all the tracking stuff set up.
Mhm.
It just requires someone to put it all together. So we have at intersections, we have computers that are taking pictures of everyone's license plate. Your phone can tell you if you're moving or not. Your phone can tell if you just suddenly stopped taking it with you, which is what you would do if you were actually meeting to to plot something against, you know, if
Mhm.
if like, basically, the whole idea that we in America can, if the government's getting too crazy, we can stand up for ourselves, and use our gun rights and whatnot to stand up for ourselves, like, that is, at this point, a fantasy
I
because
think so. Yeah.
we have our government agencies can now track everything. It's not clear that they have the ability to, but the technology to exists already, and so as soon as you get someone in the presidency or in leadership that says, "Yeah, let's just do it. Screw it. Let's do it."
Yeah, let's just become an authoritarian, you know, uh, militarized police force. Everything, just clamp down. Let's just clamp down. And the current guy is that kind of guy.
Yeah.
But not here's the thing: not only to track everyone, but also to falsely incriminate any subversive individual,
Yeah,
right?
they
With
need
deep fakes and all that crap. Like if they're like, this person is causing problems for us, how can we most easily put him in jail forever? Just
or
pretend he
blackmail
murdered someone.
or ruin their life
Yeah.
with their family. There's
Yeah.
so many ways to crush someone or distract someone
Mhm.
so that you could preemptively just stop. If you had full access to these tools, you could preemptively stop any sort of, uh,
Uprising or whatever.
competition, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Which is just I mean, we've always had that a little bit. It's just that there's always one group that's more organized than another. I mean, this is I like to say that Cortez has landed and not yet taken over.
Mm.
It's a very similar thing to where, like, the people who started working with Cortez when he arrived, like, "Oh, I'm gonna ally with him." Like, they had no clue how many millions of people were waiting to come over as soon as he had made a little progress.
Yeah.
And, it's just it's that sort of thing where, I don't think we know what we're what's on the horizon. It's just a whole bunch of things
Yeah.
can happen. It's not predictable, but there's
Yeah,
change
the
coming.
potentiality is there. The potentiality is there, and that's what makes the last few months so alarming. Like we're seeing free speech just evaporate. The state is doing everything it can to limit speech that it doesn't like. Um, and that's the first step. That's always the first step. Uh, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of, reasons for people to be concerned politically. I'm living in Canada, and one of the problems that I'm seeing here is that everyone's so focused on US politics that nobody's even really poking
Paying attention
around to see
to
what our
government
own people are
politics.
doing here.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know that people are taking advantage of the situation, but if I was in power and I had no morals, I
Mhm.
would take advantage of the situation. It's
Mhm.
just like that's what people do. So I'm worried that there's probably a bunch of stuff going on right now in Canada that we just don't even hear about because
Yeah.
there's a circus down south going on that everyone's watching.
Just glued to the TV about,
Let's get back to the sci-fi version. Suppose we do make an AI smarter than any human, and that understands all of our systems and has access to all of our systems. Why would it cause trouble?
I've always been of the notion that it wouldn't inherently want to harm humans just for the hell of it, right? I don't think that it will have malice built in. I don't think that's how consciousness works outside of the context of an evolutionary process that gives organisms certain behavior for some kind of fitness benefit.
Well,
Um,
hold on real quick. You said consciousness. I actually don't think it needs to be conscious. It just needs to
sure.
be doing what it's doing now. I don't
Yeah.
know that these things have anything like consciousness, but
Mhm.
the
Well, not
intelligent.
yet, but I mean, I feel that they're on the precipice of it.
Okay.
Once you have problem solving ability and self awareness, I mean, I think that that's basically there. It's a gray area. I don't know how to diagnose it, but I mean, it's not far, if it's not there. But I think that all you need is for humans to be perceived as an obstacle to its own goals for
Yeah.
something to go wrong. That's really it. So
Yeah. Either all humans or some humans or most humans.
sure.
And one of the things that I was pointing out in the video that I did on this is that already we have AI being trained in security. So you've got these AI systems that know how to detect a human threat, predict that human's behavior when the human has been detected, because we're putting these in like this little spot robot. They're being
Hmm.
used as security guards.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to attack people that are breaking into a facility, but they're supposed to report it. But that means that this animal's or this robot dog is the AI for it is being trained in human behavior. What does a human do when they get caught? How do you how do you appropriately respond to an intruder? So it's already knowing that it's supposed to defend stuff
Hmm.
and that the human is the bad guy. So you've got a bunch of cases where it has this in its system. And if that somehow gets magnified as its prime goal for a while, that yeah, it's just we don't know how these systems work. We are hoping that we aim it in the right direction and that it just never goes sideways. I'm not saying it will go sideways. I'm saying it could go sideways. And if it
Yeah.
does go sideways, depending on how powerful it is at the time that it goes sideways, we could really be screwed.
I agree completely. Hmm. Yeah, wasn't there was a Black Mirror episode I seem to remember that it was like a sort of a post-apocalyptic scenario, and most of the episode was just some woman running away from one of those one of those robot dogs that was like clearly AI powered, and like that was most of the episode. But it was like, yeah, this is pretty much how it would go, I think.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
could be because the AI itself decided to kill everybody, or just because you're on the wrong side of a
You're
war and
on
someone's
the
got more
wrong
power.
property or yeah, territory or just yeah, this is a threat. I got to get rid of this woman. Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone through enough wars in our lifetime that we know that it's like people give up their humanity in a war
Sure.
quickly, and they just try to win, and it doesn't matter. Like you can get stuck on the losing side of a battle very easily. It's luck. So there is one of the things you talked about in your video that I really liked you focusing on this was this arms race. People have set it up and they're marketing. They're like, we have to build a super intelligence before China does.
Yeah.
So just talk about that a little bit. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's a hard thing because like it's very clearly being used as a scapegoat, but that doesn't mean that it's a completely illegitimate concern. Yeah, we don't want China to get super intelligence and we don't have it. But also, it's much more important for none of us to have super intelligent AI, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, then the question becomes how do you regulate China? Like we can't, so I don't know. I mean, we sort of it's like the only parallel that I can think of is nuclear weapons, right?
Yes.
We were very concerned in the 50s, 60s, like, holy crap, we are definitely going to kill each other with nuclear weapons. How are we going to get this under control? And we figured that out. It seems, at least. I mean, we're 60, 70 years after that, and we haven't, there was a time where it was very like, okay, yeah, this is World War III is around the corner, Cold War, every 5 years there was an incident, Cuban Missile Crisis, and all kinds of stuff where it was like, okay, yeah, we're probably all going to die now. And we made it through that, and I mean, I don't know much about it, but we seem to have figured out some kind of regulations where we're just not as apprehensive about the threat of nuclear war. But so can't we figure out a parallel with this and all agree to kind of scale it down? Or I'm not sure.
In the case of nuclear weapons, all the big players now have them and they've agreed not to use them. So that might be some sort of truce, but this is different because the bomb itself can't decide
To go off, yeah.
to I mean, I guess you could have one malfunction and explode, but
Hmm.
the it's a more dangerous than nukes, but it's the same problem. It's this arms race mentality. And actually, if you go to like the Manhattan Project and stuff, why did we dump a ton of money on building nukes in the first place? It's because someone realized, theoretically, this is possible. Theoretically, we think this is possible. And if I know this, they know this,
Hmm.
because we all have the same physics at this point. We better do it first.
Yeah, to
So
have
there's this
leverage.
very interesting panic that starts. So we had panic when we realized that nukes are probably possible. That caused a panic. It caused an arms race. We have a panic right now with AI. We think it's possible to build a superintelligence. We're not sure, but we think it's possible. We better do it before someone else does. And I would argue that we had a very similar thing, like when Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas, right? When he told Europeans, like, hey, there's a whole nother continent and it's huge. I don't think that was so much a pleasant thing for them. It was a panic because all of Europe had been in war with everyone was at war with each other since forever. And they knew if we don't exploit this new land first and get the riches from it, our neighbors are, and
Yeah,
then they're going
we're
to
screwed.
kill us.
Yeah.
So it became this existential crisis. And what you see happen when there's an existential crisis like that is all morality goes out the window. There was slavery before Columbus discovered the Americas,
Yeah.
but
But not on this scale.
we weren't putting like thousands of people on these slave ships and shipping them across. Like the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Like I was probably in fourth grade when we saw this. We had a textbook that had a picture of a slave ship and how crammed people were on there. And then I got home and I had to lock myself in the bathroom so I could be upset and cry about it. But
Hmm.
the things we did were so disgusting, and we did that because
In the name of
people in power,
expansion, and yeah.
they weren't thinking about the little guy. They were terrified of their enemy, their enemy of the state. And we're seeing this right now. Like when you see millionaires dumping money into this, billionaires dumping money into this, when you see governments getting behind it, they're in panic mode and they are not worrying about how it's going to affect individuals. They're in panic mode.
Hmm.
And it's like
But it's panic mixed with greed. I mean, it's
yeah,
both.
yeah. Yeah, and then that was the same with colonizing the Americas, and
Yeah.
and I think you can say the same with building nukes first. It was a panic. We have to do it first, but also if we do it first, look at all the power we're going to
Look
have,
at all the power.
and it
Yeah.
really was that made America a superpower.
The
Kept that
premier
superpower
global
status
superpower. Yeah.
until it's shaking today. So
Sure. Which arguably, I think it's still hanging on. But yeah. Hmm.
uh, there's there's this claim from the AI bro world that once we get super intelligence. All of us will be living a life of abundance. We're going to get everything for free, and we're going to get universal basic income and all of this stuff. Uh,
Yeah. I mean,
Curious your take on that.
look, that's the way that it could go and should go if the people in power were virtuous, generous people. They're not, so I don't buy it. Um, I think that it's going to look more like Blade Runner than anything else. You know what I mean? It's just going to be it's going to be a teeny tiny oligarchy and a massive peasantry. It's going to be used to push things in that direction. I mean, the goal would like UBI and all these things. Yeah, it's like that's the natural progression of human civilization in a true democracy where everyone's voice and existence counts and matters equally. So it's a logical thing to think, but it's just not compatible with the current power dynamic, and certainly, and it's only getting worse. I'm only getting more and more
Yeah.
concerned year after year of how the power structure is organized.
I think about a lot of these things in a very less moral and more incentives, which I think you're good at doing this too. I've seen you make a lot of these incentive arguments. Like the incentives are bad, and so people are going to act bad.
Hmm.
Uh, there is this type of morality that we get. Like you see it, you see it if you watched the documentary or it's not a documentary. There's the Chernobyl HBO series, right?
Hmm.
And the thing that's really cool about that, and I now have Ukrainian friends because we've got a lot of Ukrainian immigrants here. There's this very it's deep bond between Ukrainians and this mission to create a better future, and we're all doing this together. And you see people exploit that as well. Of course, there's a lot of problems with communism. And I'm not trying to make a pro-communist argument, but then you see in America you have this as well. It's even with the capitalist stuff. It's most people are trying to be productive in their day-to-day work. They're not just trying to make money. They're trying to be productive. They're trying to create something worth selling. Most people are, even in a big society like ours, where you don't even know your customers personally, you still care about them. Like my brother runs a company and he cares about the clients that are buying his products. You and I make these videos. We care about people who are watching them. It's interesting. Like we have this strong moral drive, but it's when the shit hits the fan that stuff goes like those good intentions kind of go out the window. And so when
Yeah,
I like to think of universal basic income. Imagine that you go to the pet store and you just buy 1,000 goldfish and you set up an aquarium. They're just the feeder fish. You're feeling like, hey, these things are going to be fed to some animal. I'm going to save them. I don't know. It's just kind of fun. I have an aquarium full of goldfish. In this case, you represent the AI bro that owns the AI that everyone is now using, and you're now just supporting them all out of the goodness of your heart. Well, you're probably gonna find like 5 or 6 of them, and the 1,000 goldfish that are actually interesting. Maybe you actually name 5 or 6 of them, and they're all cool. Well, what happens when your house lights on fire from some accident? What happens when you're suddenly distracted from your cool little kind of cool aquarium? You're just gonna abandon them and address the fire, save your own family, save the people close to you.
totally.
Maybe if you have time, you'll try to save the 5 or so that you like that were in the aquarium, but
Yeah,
you just can't care.
one quick scoop of the net. Yeah, I got you guys.
Yeah. So that's I just even if you're a moral person and you started out because you care about the well-being of these goldfish, right?
Yeah, and we have plenty of reason to doubt the moral integrity of
Yes.
Musk, Zuckerberg, a lot of these AI guys. A lot of double speak and stuff, and I don't think any of them are good people. So
Yeah.
do with that information what you will.
Yeah, and it's I mean, even just trying to find what is a good person when you're talking about international, um, so many questions that we have as to how we should run our society. Who should we support in a war? What's over the line? What's okay? What's not for Ukraine, for example, as it's defending itself? It's like these questions, a lot of these questions, the answer there's only gray. Uh, there's not good and evil. It's gray in a lot of these situations,
Hmm.
and even if you want to be good, whatever that means.
I don't think that. I mean, I don't know much about Ukraine, but there are other conflicts like Israel Palestine's not gray at all. That thing is black and white. And when you have these tech CEOs like Zuckerberg is very complicit with a desire to censor any pro Palestine content on his platforms. It's rampant. Stories, posts, accounts that just do nothing but show the carnage in Gaza are deleted every day,
Right.
constantly, and he's okay with it. He just bends right over for whoever's in power. and that's not moral good, right? The moral good is that which aligns with the needs and the survival of the many, as opposed to the desire for power of the very few on top. It's a pretty easy way to demarcate moral versus immoral. So for me, yeah, I don't know. I look at all these guys, Musk, Zuckerberg, they're all in it for themselves and nobody else.
Uh,
So
yeah, it was interesting. Were you surprised when Elon Musk made the turn, or did you see that coming? Because
it's a
for
very
me,
good.
I saw him as just like a smart guy that was doing good things and trying to, I don't know if it was the ketamine or just he started talking more, and so we got to know him better, but I
Yeah,
was pretty shocked.
I was skeptical and never really bought into the genius, thing. I just thought of him as a wild card. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I thought whatever crazy thing this guy might do, it could be good, it could be bad. Let's let it play out. But I mean, everything he was doing to influence that particular race in Minnesota, and then the Doge crap, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, all the cards are out on the table now. I know exactly who you are, and you're never
Yeah.
coming back from this. You're a horrible, horrible person. So,
Yeah, it's my a friend of mine, he had just bought a Tesla before all that stuff happened.
mhm.
He's like, "Oh, man." He's like, "I
Got to put a sign on the
I
car
bought
saying, "I'm sorry."
this environmental hero by my neighbors."
Yeah.
You know? Oh. And then he left the country for a while because he does, he does this volunteer stuff in Mexico. He's doing a bunch of really cool stuff down there. He's like, "So I go down to do my project in Mexico. I come back and now, like, I'm like a Nazi in my neighborhood." I'm like, "Oh, crap."
Mhm.
He didn't buy the Tesla truck, but,
Okay.
he had a
Yeah, that thing is hideous, man.
yeah, it's been interesting watching this happen. I can't handle it. I just ignore the news now, but that's probably not a good idea either.
Well, we can't all do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's easier for me because I live in Canada and,
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I understand the sentiment, right? It's
yeah,
we're all you plugging in and out, as much as our sanity will tolerate. But it's we need to be vigilant here. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Like to me, it's just crazy. Like the Charlie Kirk thing, like the way the government is clamping down on anyone like saying anything negative about Charlie Kirk. It's like, are you insane? Like, what is happening to free speech? Like, it's just such a very clear erosion of free speech right in front of our eyes.
yeah,
Um, Coupled with like throwing people in detention centers without any due process, and like
yeah,
revoking visas for going to pro-Palestine rallies and stuff. It's just like what is it going to take for the MAGA cult to like see what's happening, right? There, all of these free speech absolutists are supporting this intense erosion of free speech, which is the first thing on the slippery slope to fascism. It always is, every time.
yeah.
So
Yeah, people are like people are pointing to instances where it was the left censoring free speech. And it's like, "Ugh, if you can see
when?
that a problem if you can see that as a problem on the left, how do you not see it as a problem on the right? Like, what
When it's institutionalized, it's not even just a cultural, like you can talk about, oh, cancel culture or whatever, like that's always been overblown by the right. But here we're talking about state sanctioned limitation of free speech with real consequences.
yeah,
Like,
it's very dangerous. Yeah.
yeah, it's just bananas. So,
Okay, so on the back on the AI topic, you did this video, you got a lot of feedback. Was there any feedback that you appreciated that was actually against you at all? Was there anything someone said, you're like, "Ah, yeah, good point there."
I mean, not really. There's a lot of people like trying to talk about like, this is how AI works, this is how AI doesn't work. And I just let it happen because I don't know how AI works. I don't know
Yeah,
much about this stuff. I just thought it was an interesting topic and I just wanted to make a piece just sort of documenting like, here's what all of these people say. Here are some experiments that happened and what other people are saying. And then just you guys talk about it in the comment section. Like, it doesn't bother me if someone is like this part, like, did you think about this? Because it's not the same as if I do, a creationism debunk and some creationist is like, no, blah blah. It's like, shut up, man. You are wrong. I am right. Get out of here. This was just sort of a interesting topic, and talk amongst yourselves about it, because nobody knows what's going to happen for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions about if we are going to create a super intelligence, how do we get there? And then how do you even define? How do you even know when you cross that line? And those are a lot. Those are the technical questions, right?
yeah.
And I also don't know that at all.
But we do know that it's the self-recursive improvement, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, there are general principles. You're right. So if
we
you
don't
have
have to
that
figure it out.
open-ended improvement,
AI will figure it
then
out.
yeah. And the thing is too, that people have been worried about this for like 50 years. There have been people that have been worried about it and writing about it. And if you look at their concerns, even before they knew anything about how it was actually going to play out,
Yeah,
the dangers that they were warning about, we're already
sure.
seeing them. So I mean, Terminator 2 was like, oh, it's the AI, and then it's gonna be policing everything. Well, we're already seeing AI being used to police things, and you can preemptively stop a crime, like if
Minority
you're
Report.
in one of these states that's using it at the state level where they can. Because look, if you have a bunch of people that are trying to fight for their rights, and you are a dictator and you're taking rights away, what are those people gonna have to do? They're gonna have to coordinate their actions with other people. They're gonna have to meet with other people.
Hmm.
Well, you don't want to bring your cell phone to those meetings, but we now have data where we can be like, oh, I've seen that these people are radicalized in this way because I know what they've been reading
All of their
online.
posts and what their all the website, any website they go to, whatever, etc.
I know that these five guys know each other and they're all radicalized in the same way. And I know that every Thursday night their cell phones don't move at all at the same time.
Hmm.
And so then I look at the license plate photo data, and I see all of them are going to this one bar. Well, now I know that I just need to put a microphone in that bar, and I can figure out what's going on. So you're just the ability to fight back. This thing that we have, the what is it, the Second Amendment right for the right to bear arms that everyone is trying to protect. If you talk to people that are hardcore about that, they say, "What's the point of this? It's to resist government control."
Yeah,
Uh, Well,
guns ain't
with
gonna help.
technology, it doesn't matter how many guns you have. They can literally they can just ruin your life without shooting you. They can just blackmail you. They can whatever. It's
Yeah, but also they can just send a drone and blow your house
yeah,
up if it
yeah.
comes to that. So,
They
yeah,
could just literally take you out. So yeah, we're entering a very it's a very dangerous new era,
new
and it's
frontier
not
here.
clear uh what we
Yeah,
can do about it. So
and
I
it's
I
like
do think I don't want to panic people, especially
I'm
people who
I'm
want.
panicking because the thing is this: if you just had some ho hum establishment Democrat in office, I'd still be like it's heading that way, but at a snail's pace. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It would be everything kind of like still okay. Let's like keep the citizenry somewhat happy, and let's not completely erode all civil liberties all at once.
mhm,
Trump is a fucking maniac. Like he's just trying to demolish anything that prevents him from accumulating power and elevating executive power and putting himself above the Supreme Court and all of these other things. Like he's just at breakneck speed heading towards authoritarianism. He's sending the National Guard into all these cities. It's just it just makes me feel like we could be in this weird sci-fi post-apocalyptic scenario before the end of his term. And
yeah,
I don't like I'm like what if he prevents the next election from happening, right? He's just like, nope,
yeah,
no election. I'm going to stay in power because I'm going to manufacture some kind of nationwide crisis and invoke some weird amendment that says in this kind of turmoil, like I can just stay president and become a dictator. Like he wants to be Putin, and he's trying to become that sort of a figure. And I just like he's gonna try to do it. Like there's no way he's not gonna try to do it. So
yeah. It really does look dangerous. I'm like,
Yeah.
I try to really I really try to be open-minded about where this could be heading, and it just does not there's just nothing about it that looks good. It's just
Yeah.
not it's not normal, and it's not American. Like, uh,
Yeah, it's like
it is very weird, and do
like
you
w
know okay, so online, of course, we come up with hardcore Trump supporters all the time that'll
yeah.
pop up, and so if you say anything about them that's at all negative, they say you have Trump derangement syndrome and so on. But in real life, I know people, I have friends who voted for Trump, and everyone I know is now like, "What? I didn't I didn't
I
this
didn't
wasn't
sign up for
cool."
this. Yeah.
So, my experience in real life is that the people I know who voted for Trump, they have now abandoned him. I don't know what things are like in your circles or how common that is. Like, I don't know if he's to me, it looks like he's lost a lot of actual support from moderates.
Yeah. No, he must have. I mean, I don't know any pretty much any Trump supporters. I don't run in those circles, but I know they exist. And I mean, the thing is that it's like it's not even that easy to like make an assessment or like kind of take the pulse of the general public based on social media behavior because it's just overrun with bots and all kinds of things anyway
Yeah.
to
And
purposely
yeah,
obfuscate the situation so that you cannot tell like whether support is eroding or how public opinion is changing. Like it's just
yeah.
everything is just shrouded in confusion, and it's just hard to even know where to look to get a sense of what everyone's thinking.
Yeah, it's very hard to take a pulse from social media, even before there was bot invasions, right?
Hmm.
There's just people behave different online. You feel safe and you're behind your computer
Right.
and you just behave poorly. This is
Yeah.
if you're triggered, you behave poorly. The signals online are exaggerated, but then it seems like that exaggeration is not now bouncing back out into the real world.
Sure.
It's becoming the real
Yeah.
opinion.
January 6th was the first clear manifestation of that energy, and
Yeah.
it certainly has not gone away. I mean,
Yeah, and the recent assassination is another example of that, like,
sure.
I don't think that I think that before online culture was exaggerating everyone, like, that wouldn't have happened. You don't just shoot someone that you disagree with, even if they're being a jerk, and it's
Hmm.
like, we things got supercharged, and, we need to simmer down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think people
Calm
are
down.
are are acutely aware of the stakes here. Like this is not just a normal, this is not politics as usual. This is not the Reagan administration. This is not even the Bush administration. Like this is just it's a completely unique time in American history where we're seeing the entire structure of of the country change in bizarre ways, and none of them good.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of panic, and I don't know. It's like time for like have your overnight escape plan. I'm putting mine together, and it I hope you never have to pull the trigger. But there comes a point where it's like, look, this is too hot right now. Like I want to be in this territory. I'm not going to go to jail for anybody. You know.
Yeah, it's wild. Okay, so it's a lot of dark stuff here, but
Yeah.
let's in your video, you ended on a positive note,
Mhm.
and, your AI video, you like, what can we do about it? If we worry about this stuff, we worry about who might get a hold of this stuff. It's just panic inducing, right?
Sure.
But there is something that people can there's some things that people can do, and I don't know if you have if you remember the name of the charity off the top of your head. It's like
Control AI.
what's that?
Control AI.
Control AI. Tell me about that group.
So they're working to sort of inform legislators in America and the UK as to the risks of superintelligence and try to convince them to make progress towards developing legislations that will limit or slow down AI development or ideally outright ban the development of superintelligence.
Mhm.
I mean, the goal is to ban the development of superintelligence worldwide, and to do so purely through bureaucratic legislative means. Because I mean, the thing is that there's still like we're in a place globally where the corporatocracy is in charge, right? But it's not like 100% control. There are still governing bodies that can exercise power, and if that weren't true, nobody would lobby anything, right? That lobbies exist and spend a lot of money to try to influence legislation is indicative of the fact that legislation has power to an extent over the private sector, and so we want to inflate that power and inflate the ability of governing bodies to control tech firms, not control, but just limit their power, and limit their ability to do. It's like if we want to limit the ability of some corporation to dump toxic sludge in a river, right? No, there's laws. You can't do that. And if you do that, we'll come over there and give you fines and shut you down or whatever it is. Same thing here, just it's a little more esoteric, but
Yeah.
you know, so it seems trite, but just if the more the citizenry makes contact with legislators and voices their opinion, I mean, it does something. It does have some influence, and it takes next to no time or effort. So it's a start. But that's the goal, is to get legislation on there to curb this. So
Yeah. So the website again,
control AI.
controlai.com is
I think so. I forget. Just look up Control AI. It should come up right
I
away.
will have a link, folks,
Yeah,
in the video
it's
description
yeah.
where you can.
Go to my AI video, and it's in the description and everything. And yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Hmm.
Uh, all right. One more question. One
Sure.
more positive note question. What is the next classic Professor Dave series that you're planning to do?
Oh, like tutorials.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me take a look at my little document here. Oh, I have a good one actually. One thing that I'm preparing to do is a series on the Apollo missions. Because someone contacted me who has a tremendous amount of knowledge on those missions and also access to extremely rare footage that almost nobody has seen.
Awesome.
Yes, so it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a bunch of footage of the Apollo missions that nobody has seen, and just narrating, how each, the goals of each mission and how it went and what transpired and everything. So that's going to be super cool.
I know almost nothing about those missions. I know about Apollo 13 because of the movie. And I know about, the time we actually the first step onto the
Right,
moon.
11.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like, yeah, see, I didn't even know the number. I didn't know it
Mhm.
was Apollo 11. But yeah, that's such a fascinating time of history and such a crazy. I can't believe we did that. It's amazing. So, yeah, that'll be really cool.
Yeah, should be cool.
And you'll get a lot of conspiracy theorists.
Probably. But I think that one, just because of the footage, I think I'll get more just space enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to be supporting that at $5 a month.
Yes, that's right. Well, at this point, I mean, you've bought me a very nice steak dinner, if you count up all the months. So yeah. Mhm.
Cool. Well, Dave, thank you, and keep it up. It's good to have you out there
Of
doing
course,
doing the good work, and that you're accessible. That's great.
I'll keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.